lucky to have Dad in our lives and a grandfather for our kids.
I know, he's taught our kids some really great life lessons. I wonder what they're up to right now.
Let's see.
Man, this summer really has gone by fast.
Yeah, you and I going to college?
Grandpa turning 70?
Mason, knock it off or I thump your gourd.
Did Grandpa teach us to inhale these things or exhale?
Exhale them, stupid.
1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday, Grandpa!
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Scott. I've known Gary Rood since 1975, so it's been, 35, 33 plus years. And part of that relationship with Gary has been professional, but also personal. Gary's had a lot to do with my professional life. He's one of the top 5 people that I've had in my life over the years. And we've done a lot of stuff on a personal side as well, to the point that when he proposed to Christine, he asked me to be his best man. And I agreed to do that under certain terms. And I wouldn't tell Gary what those terms were until I got together with Christine. And I explained to Christine that I wasn't Gary's best man, I was her best man for the next 3 years. I was giving her a 3-year commitment to keep Gary on the straight and narrow, because they've been married now for quite a while. Gary in his youth used to be one of the wildest guys on a personal side I've ever known. And we all had our oats that we sowed when we were younger, but Gary's oats stayed with him for quite a while. But in his elder years, he has been committed to Christine, and he's had that straight and narrow path. And I think he's rediscovered the values in life that he had when he was a young boy, raised in the Adventist faith, a very strict religion in terms of standards and goals and values and commitment, but also to diet and nutrition. So Gary's always had this commitment to taking care of himself, taking care of his temple, as he used to call it. Now he's a little older, his temple's a little worn and aged, but he's always been very strict about his diet and certain things that he would eat and would not eat, like pork or bacon. He's always stayed away from that. And alcohol and things like that. He's a very strict person in that regard. So you've seen some shots of Gary on a personal, as a family man, as a father, and as a grandparent, and I know you've seen some shots of him and some of the evil things he may have instructed his grandkids to do. But we also respect Gary from a very high level, from a business perspective. He's been one of the more successful people in business. He's a very entrepreneurial person. He's always known how to make money, but he's always had this caring side about him too, about taking care in a new and different way, in a very authentic way, of how to take care of our parents' generation. And he's done a great deal in setting the standard of care for elderly in this country and how it is that we should take care of them with his assisted living projects. So he's been very successful financially, but he's also done it the right way. And so I know a lot of you may not have had the opportunity to really see how Gary rolls in his professional life in his office. So what we thought we would do is, at his birthday party, is to show you how this man really operates this titan of assisted living industry in his private office. So let's go see how he does this. One thing about Gary is that he has, for a number of years, had this old desk. He had this desk when he came to Mid-Columbia Medical Center, and the medical staff really objected to him buying this particular desk because they thought, oh, the hospital had to buy the desk. And then Gary had to explain, no, he bought it with his own money, but it just shows how doctors can be from time to time in terms of their jealousy of the CEOs and the president. But this was bought, 30 plus years ago by Gary he was working when he was at Mid-Columbia, when he left Mid-Columbia to create Lifestyles. It's always been with him. It's just kind of like it's his right-hand person. It's been with him a long time. It shows the age. Gary's aged a lot better than this desk has. It's come a long ways with him, and I know they're very close personal friends. And so when you look at a desk like Gary, a guy who's made millions and millions of dollars, invested millions in creating these assisted living facilities all over the United States, but his desk has stayed with him for all these years, and they have lots of secrets, I'm sure, that only the desk and Gary really know about. So now that we have this chance, why don't we see what's going on here? we'll just start from the bottom and work our way up, so to speak. Well, Gary does take care of himself. He likes his snacks, as it looks like he's been into them quite heavily. He likes his fiber. He likes to stay regulated. You know, it's good to have an active digestive tract as you get older, to have those regular movements, and Gary's good at that. And he's always been full of a lot of gas and shares that openly with everybody, and he's always BAing everybody on golf courses and everything else, but he likes to stay regular, and it's a key part of his success, as he's done life. But as he's watched his diet and things over there, oh my God, what are these things? I guess it's candy. It doesn't look quite like candy. I could think of other uses that he might have for it in his youth, but not today, so anyway, we'll see what happens there. But obviously he's got plans and things for future developments. He's got architectural drawings that you might expect of where he might go with his future. I don't know quite what to say about this, but it looks like Gary's a pig farmer. And I thought he didn't like pork or bacon or things like that, but he seems to have done something with a ranch up in the Dalles in Wasco County. Maybe just wanted to fit in with some of the guys, so he's in the pig farming business, but I don't know if he wants too many people to see that. I thought those might be architectural plans of where he's going with lifestyles. Maybe it's once he sells lifestyles and fully retires, maybe he's going to be a pig farmer giant as he does his work. Obviously a calculator, and he's adding up his fortune, and 210, it's bracketed, so maybe kind of a bad month, I'm not sure. What else? Oh my God. Gee, when is it enough for this guy? He's got the latest issue of Hustler magazine. And this looks like it's been used a little bit, but I don't know. She looks like she's about 18 maybe, and Gary's 70, and he's still, when is it enough for this guy? It just keeps on happening. Whew. It's just, but anyway, I think when Gary does his work, when he really gets down to the nitty-gritty of what he's after here, the play, the movie, select a star, chapter, Hustler's all-time best. Wow, I'm amazed that Gary's not the king of the Hustler magazine. He's probably been a lifetime member for years. But what is this? I mean, it's not like Christine isn't a phenomenal woman with phenomenal attributes, both from a female perspective, but this looks like it's worn. It looks like it's been used quite a bit. God almighty. Will this guy ever get enough? It's never enough. He always wants more. Whew. Whew. This is a hot office. I can see why this guy makes millions. Wow. Wow. What do you say to a guy who has everything? Who's done everything? Who's been a champion for a lot of us over the years? Gary has helped me tremendously in my own personal life. In all seriousness, tonight I want to thank him for all of his coaching and guidance over the years. It's been an honor to have Gary in my life. He's clearly one of the top 5 people I've ever had in my life, who's helped me both professionally and personally. Not to the extent that he goes to. I've tried to keep out of those scenarios as much as I can. But he's always been there for me. We've laughed together, we've cried together, we've had heartache together, we've had joyous times together. And tonight I just wanted to take a moment to thank him for all of those journeys and to wish him a happy birthday, because my friend, I can't be with you tonight, but I wanted to be there in spirit, but also to show everybody what your professional life is really like. For Christine, it's not too late. You can always find the door if you wish to. There's a bright side to this rainbow for you too as well. Good night, and I hope to see you guys soon.
Hey Grandpa, happy 70th birthday. I just want to thank you for everything you've done for me.
taking me on all your vacations and the help for education and whatnot. And thanks for teaching me always how to be crude and learn how to fart really loud and all that stuff. So happy birthday.
Well, happy birthday, Gary, you old buzzard. It's about time you grew up. We're going to mention a few little incidents that happened between you and I. Number one, when we were in Japan, you were in the Japanese swimming pool. Everybody in there was supposed to be naked and supposed to take a bath before they go in and shower and, you know, do all that stuff so you're clean. You apparently have rules of your own, so you just go in there, big old guy, and those Japanese are about half your size, and you just dive into that pool, splash water all over, and everybody thinks it's some crazy American. Anyway, that made quite an impression. And the other thing that really kind of startled me and several of the people here in the office is when we were out there in the lobby, and you came over to me, and I thought you were going to tell me a secret, and you ended up giving me a big kiss, and I was just about ready to throw a rock at you, but I didn't have one. But that's just Gary. Happy birthday, Gary, and hope you have 10 more. That's it for now.
Hi, Gary. Just want to wish you a happy birthday and many, many more, and good health and prosperity. See you later. Bye. Okay, yours. Hurry up. She's filming right now. Elmer's at a loss of words. Can you believe that?
I don't know exactly how I want to put it, but I'm not going to be very nice about it.
That's okay. You don't have to be nice.
He calls you a prickhead all the time.
Yeah. You're a little prick, you. I hope that you're doing well and all this, and keep your pants loaded.
Loaded?
So, in a case like this, it's good to see you, even though I'm going to have to pay for what I'm eating and everything else myself, you tight asshole, you.
Tell him happy birthday. Tell him happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And many, many more.
Yes, many, many more.
Bye, Gary.
Here we are. Looks like Jim and Elmer are taking me for a ride. We're gonna go see this new remodeled ranch. Okay, now say it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the ranch headquarters for the bow and arrow. And over here in the trees, you'll see Gary's new remodel. But shit, you can't see very much. But, oh well, we'll do a loop around here. Camille might be waiting for him.
Oh, nice trailer trash.
With the drawers on the
Yeah. Now, this is all the junk we got to work with up here. Looks pretty good, huh? Gary just cleaned up the front porch there this weekend.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, stop. Hey, Gary, when you go back to the valley, you're supposed to take your laundry with you.
Don't get so excited. Don't get so excited that you lose your head for a little piece of ass.
Say that again, Elmer.
There you go.
Don't lose your head. Don't lose your drawers for a little piece of ass.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, have a happy birthday there, you old booger. Okay, good luck.
Happy birthday, Gary. I'm sorry I am unable to be there today. It's been 34 years since you moved to Wells Road in the Dalles, Oregon, and our friendship began, Mr. Rude. There are so many good memories over the years that we've shared, and a few tears. One of my fondest memories is going to the Count Basie Ella Fitzgerald concert with you. We'd had an early thaw that spring, and 15 Mile had gone over the banks. I was living down with Diane, as you recall. You came down the driveway in your Z car, got as close to the house as you could, honked your horn, and out I came with all my finery on, my dress hiked up around my breasts, and hip waders, sloshing through the creek. When I got in the car, got out of my hip waders, got in your little tiny Z car, you looked over and you said, "Wow, that's the first time, hip waders." That was just one small memory of many wonderful memories. I just want to say thank you for being there for me, and I'll see you next time you're up in the Dalles. Bye.
Okay.
Hi, Tammy. I'm Lois. Dwayne's expecting you. Go right on in.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, hi, Tammy. It's good to
Hello.
have you here.
Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you. My name's Dwayne. And so I understand you're just here kind of getting some information on your dad. His
That's
birthday's
right.
coming up. Is
Yeah.
that what I understand?
That's right, 70.
Well, I'll tell you what. I haven't seen Gary for years. It's been a long time, but it's important that you understand how important an influence he was on my life. I almost tear up when I talk about it, but you know, Gary was running the hospital when I came to work here. In fact, this is his old office. And I just feel very humbled to have this office and have it be here. I can only hope to follow in his footsteps and be half the administrator, let alone half the man that Gary is. And he's been a huge influence on my life and taught me a great deal. I don't know if you know it or not, but I'm a member of the LDS Church. A lot of people call us Mormons. And Gary introduced me to the church because that's the way he lived his life. The Book of Mormon, he said, changed his life and gave him a compass and a direction where he was going to live forever. That was the principles he was going to live in his life. I had to learn more about it, and I became so enthralled. And with Gary as an example, I've tried to do nothing but emulate the way he lives his life. So he just meant a great deal to me. One of the principles that he taught me was that I should use every fiber of my being to find that true soulmate that would be mine forever. And so I'm just certain, it's been a long time since I've seen Gary, but I'm certain he and Lucy are just as happy now as they've ever been, because he said that was it for him. And so I hope you'll give them both my best when you go back and see them for the party. But you know, he and Lucy were just like that, and I'm sure they still are, and he's been a great inspiration to me. Hey, I'm a little embarrassed by this. If I'd have known you're coming, I may have kind of gotten rid of this, but to let you know how much I think of your dad, this is a shrine that I created for Gary. I've had it here ever since he left. These candles have never gone out and never will. Gary's the light of my life. All I learned about life and healthcare I learned from Gary. And so this is just the homage I pay to him. When I come in every day, I kneel in front of it and just have a little moment of reflection, because this is how I center myself and how I know what I'm supposed to do and how the day's supposed to go. And I just couldn't imagine starting it without Gary. Gosh, I still hope he's got that good-looking mustache, and I'm sure he has a full head of hair. I can't imagine it's anything but jet black like it is here, but I'm sure he looks exactly the same, and I really miss him and wish I could see him and spend some time with him. The other thing that I want to share with you is the other important aspect of Gary's life that I know was always important to him was his love for the Boy Scouts. He loved the Boy Scout motto, be prepared. Again, he lived his life so that he could show young men how they should live and what they should do, making decisions. I remember a saying he used to tell me is, Dwayne, stay away from substances that can ruin your life, especially that devil liquor. I remember one phrase he said to me that I'll never forget. He said, lips that have touched alcohol will never touch mine. And that's always the way I've tried to live my life too. This guy's just been an incredible inspiration, and I know he has been for others. But getting back to this Boy Scout theme, he always wanted to be prepared. He lived in health care. And one of the things that I discovered once I took over for Gary and was the administrator of the hospital is that, you know, when he was in here in his quiet moments on his own time, he used to practice CPR so that if anything ever happened in the hospital with any of the patients or any visitors, he'd know how to resuscitate them. And Gary, you may not know I know this, but I know, and you don't need to be humble about this because I know you did this. And the way that I know Gary did this is after I came and I took over his desk, I found this Resusci Annie that he had underneath the desk. And I know that this is how he practices CPR, chest compressions, CPR with this Resusci Annie. And I'm sure he bought this with his own money. Gary, I've always kept it. I practice on it myself and make sure that that I'm always able to be a resource if there's any emergencies. And this is just one other legacy that Gary has left me that has helped me out.
Hi there, I'm Wendell White. I'm an old friend of Gary's and I'm here to talk about my buddy. So sorry Gary that I can't be there for your party, but I have a family wedding in Wairika, California Saturday night, one of the real hot spots of the West Coast. So anyway, Gary and I go way back. We go back so far that we went to high school together. Now, Gary and I went to a little high school out west of Portland called Laurelwood Academy. Laurelwood is a coeducational boarding school. So coeducational means that there was girls there, and boarding school means that we lived there all the time. So there's lots of opportunities to get in trouble. And the faculty devised different means of punishment to try to keep us from getting in trouble, but we were still good at getting in trouble. Now, a couple of the punishments was 6x6s and cow's tails. Now, Gary has a lot of experience with both of those forms of punishment, so you can ask him this evening to explain to you about cow's tails and 6x6s. Now, one of the ways that Gary had of getting in trouble was that he would, after lights out, now they turned the lights out at 9:30 thinking that we would go to sleep, when actually that's when the fun started. But after lights out, Gary would open the window of his room, he would crawl out, and he would sneak across the campus to the girls' dorm. Now, I never did go on one of those excursions with him, and I don't know exactly what he did, but I do know that when he came back, he had a huge shit-eating grin on his face. So he did get in trouble occasionally, and we had a wonderful time at school. But over the years, Gary and I have ended up in the same business, and we've both developed a love for golf. So we enjoy getting together playing golf, talking business, and reminiscing about Laurelwood. This last year, Gary and I made a trip to Pinehurst, North Carolina to play golf. Now, we were gone for a week, it's just the two of us. We stayed in an old 100-year-old inn and had a large room, just the two of us, two big double beds. When we got to our room, well, we unpacked our things, and I noticed that over along the wall on Gary's side of the room, there were lined up 8 pairs of golf shoes. Now, this is a 7-day trip, and we're going to play golf 6 times. So, Christine, I think you have a real problem there. I see the the makings of a real serious shoe fetish. So keep track of this and keep an eye on it. But Gary, over the years, you've done well in your business, and you have wonderful kids. I still, this lovely lady sitting here filming me, she claims to be your daughter. I questioned it. She's so nice. But you've done good with great kids. You've been successful in your business. You can fart on command, and you're a so-so golfer. But you've really hit the jackpot with Christine. So I'm very proud of you. Happy birthday. Love you, brother. And by the way, we need to play golf real soon because I'm getting low on cash. Bye-bye.
Am I supposed to say hi, Gary? I guess I should tell you how I happened to meet Gary. I met Gary through an accountant friend, Dave Larson. And Dave is still my accountant, although Gary booted him out about 10 years ago and had his own accountant in there. I can't talk about Gary without talking about golf, because it's become a passion of Gary's, and it has always been a passion in my life. Gary's tried to buy a golf game. I think he's either had 20 or 30 sets of golf clubs, and he's traveled all over playing golf. In fact, we've taken trips to Alabama, to, where was this place? Kohler, Wisconsin, Nevada, Bandon Dunes, and recently I know he's gone to China with some other friends. Also, Gary's taken lessons on lessons. And I have to admit, his game has improved, but it seems like he falls back into the same habit, and his game deteriorates again, and it starts over again. But Gary, good luck. I'm sorry that your wife is the first one that's had holes in one. It happened when we were in Kohler, Wisconsin. Christina was all dressed in pink and had a hole-in-one with a pink golf ball, and then came home and had another hole-in-one here at Royal Oaks. Gary, tough luck. I've had a hole-in-one too. I hope you have one before you're my age, Gary. Anyway, let's see if there's anything else about golf that I want to talk about. Oh, no, I don't think so, because we both love the game and hope to play it for many more years. But I would like to talk about your cowboy and being up at the ranch. And it seems like Gary's been a semi-cowboy forever. He either was riding horses, maybe other two-legged objects, or whatever. Anyway, Gary, I know you've had a lot of fun with the ranch, but it isn't a paying proposition, is it? Let's see, what else am I going to tell you? Gary, I know you took your ranch hand down to New Zealand last year and had a good time. And he was a sheep herder, I understand, at one time. I hope you're not thinking about being a sheep herder, because I've heard about what sheep herders do. So I wouldn't want you to get that way, because I'm around you too much. Thanks, Gary. Just had to throw that in. I would hate to be one of your bulls, because I know you take the bulls over and have them sperm tested every year. And I don't think I'd like to do that. But I understand that you always come home with a smile on your face after you've tested those bulls. Is there any significance about this, Gary, that I should know? Anyway, yeah, I guess the bulls either wind up being good bulls or they're going to be hamburger. That's right. Let's see, is there anything else I want to say about you and being a cowboy? Well, I guess so. I guess it's only that I hope you don't get off when the bulls get off. That's all I can say about that. Hang on just a minute. Well, Gary, now to change subject. Instead of fast women, we'll talk about fast cars. You've become quite an addict, haven't you? You've known me for a while on fast cars. Now I think you've stepped to the format in front of me because you have faster cars than I have. But I'm still going to give you a run in the car race, okay? And they're a lot of fun, aren't they? So I figure that South Africa has some neat racing cars I think I told you about the other day. And maybe we should take a trip over to where they're being manufactured and see if we can get a couple of those sent over here so that we can kind of build them the way we'd like them. To finish and conclude, Gary, you've been a great friend and a good business partner, and I love you, bud. So keep it up. Maybe we'll wind up in one of our facilities together. You in one and me in the other. And we can meet for lunch. Thanks, Gary. It's been a good ride with you, buddy. Bye.
Pardon me, sir. Can I have a moment of your time? I was told that you were close friends with Gary Rude.
Who?
Gary Rude. I'm doing some research on him and understand you know him well.
Gary Rude. Jerry Rude. Gary Rude. Yeah, it doesn't ring a bell. Sorry.
He's a big guy. Here's a picture.
Oh, shit! That's the Rooster. He's one of my best buddies. Yeah, I know him really well. You know, he's really, really rich.
Well, we're having a party for his 70th birthday, and I'm interviewing his friends to find out more about him.
Well, I don't think I got an invitation. What's the deal with that, I wonder? Never called me.
Can you tell me anything about him?
Well, yeah, I know a lot about him. You say he's gonna be 70 years old?
Yes, his party is this Sunday.
Man, wow, I thought he was a lot older than that. He sure looks older. God. You know, well, I'll tell you what, he's one crazy guy. You know, me and him, we met right here at the porno shop. And, you know, I don't know, he's got a lot of money, I'll tell you that. And boy, he buys some really cool stuff. He's a hard guy to keep up with, though. He's got lots of energy. I think he probably takes a lot of pills or something. You're only 70, you say, really?
Yeah, 70.
Huh. Well, I'll tell you what, he sure doesn't act his age. He acts like a little kid. You know, he loves to fart and what the heck, I mean, he's farting and burping and everything in public all the time. I think he thinks it's really funny. Have you ever heard him laugh? The guy is, I mean, it's like he's coming from his toes. Sounds like a hyena. You know, it's just, he's quite a guy. Yeah.
What else can you tell me about him?
Well, I can tell you one thing about him, and that's he drives like a freaking maniac. He thinks he owns a damn road. You know, the other day, he damn near killed me. We were going 120 miles an hour down Highway 14. He's got this real fancy car that he got. I think he got it off of eBay or something. I'll tell you, me and the Rooster, we golf every once in a while. And I think he owns a golf factory somewhere, because every time we play, he's got a new set of clubs. Yeah, I'll tell you what. The Rooster and me, I really like him, mainly because he gives me all his balls, and he only hits them twice. And so I get all these balls, and that's pretty nice of the guy. As far as I know, he doesn't work, you know. He's always going someplace doing something. And as far as I know, he's got 17 or 18 different golf instructors all around the world. We had a time one time when over in China, and he was getting out of the pool, and I think he scared this little girl real bad, because when he was drying off and stuff, I think she thought he was a giant panda bear, because he's got this thick coat of hair over his entire body. And then I found out later he couldn't go back there because he refused to pay some bill at the gentleman's club. Anyway, I'll tell you what, when you see him, tell him happy birthday for me. Tell him old Big Dick Johnson said, happy birthday, Rooster. Take her easy, I gotta go now. See ya.
Excuse me, sir. Could you tell me, what do you know about Gary Rood?
Gary who?
Gary Rood?
R-U-D-E?
No, R-O-O-D.
Gary Rood. Oh. Are women, children, or preachers going to see this?
Probably all the above.
Oh. Okay. Well, that limits the scope. There's a lot of Gary Roods. There's a lot of Gary Roods. He's a lot of things to a lot of different people. Some would say he's, well, we won't go there, but some would say he's intimidating, which he's not if you know him. Some would say he's pure testosterone, which might be true. Some would say he's compassionate, which he can be. Some would say that he's highly intelligent, which he is. Some would say he can be challenging, which he is. But there's a lot of Gary Roods, and thank God that Christine puts up with him. This is the stiff that lives with Christine. This is the Gary Rood we're talking about.
Yep, this is the guy. This is the right one.
I've known Gary for a lot of years, not all of his 80 years, but just the last 12 to 13. I guess that means I met him when he was 67 or so. And we've traveled a lot of roads, and he has on occasion been boring, but not often. He's a pretty lively fella. There's a lot of things that you don't want to do with Gary Rood, and there's a lot of things that you might want to do with Gary Rood. Some of the things on the don't do with Gary Rood is, well, you never want to ever want to share a motel room with him. He will assault your senses. He sleeps about 4 hours a night. The lights will be on. And if he does fall asleep, it gets noisy, and you'll be awake. If the lights don't keep you awake, the noise will keep you awake, and it'll smell. And cutting off his feed doesn't seem to affect that. So that's one of the things you don't want to do with him. Another thing you probably don't want to do is take him anywhere if you have children present. I made the mistake once of taking Gary, Christine, Jordan, along with my family to the coast, and we went crabbing, and it denigrated into Gary throwing crabs and giggling to the point he almost fell out of the boat. And I, of course, am hoping there's no wildlife officer who would write a citation. But any public place, you want to be careful with Gary. That's a good working rule, but not always. You don't want to sit in the duck blind with him, at least if you're downwind. That's just not a good idea either. And sometimes the problem's from the cigars, sometimes it's from other things. Go back to the room. You never, ever want to go into a Walmart with him. First, he'll talk to the greeter for 10 minutes. And that may be a good job for him in retirement. I've always believed that to be the case. because he is at all times highly social. And, well, you don't want to go into a Walmart with him. Trust me on that. Well, if you need to know the details, you'll have to ask Gary. I wouldn't suggest you keep your horse with him. He's got a reputation as to horses from back in the days in the Dalles. I have this from a client of mine whose husband's horses disappeared while Gary was the tenant on the property. The statute of limitations on that is long run and long gone, and it's not privileged, so I can talk about it, and I don't think they hang people for that anymore. There are times you want to have a drink with Gary, one for joy, and sometimes to numb the pain. But the joys far exceed the pain. There are a lot of things you do want to do with Gary because he is relentlessly in motion. His attention span is not the longest that I've seen. He does have an uncanny ability to listen to 4 to 6 hours of deadening material and emerge with 1 or 2 nuggets that he can use to great effect. He's got a rare ability to do that. He is both loyal to his friends and to his family, yet at the same time he can be hard to his friends and his family, but it's testament to him that people hang and they put up with the volcano Gary, which we all know, and because that is the volcano Gary is outweighed easily by the better part of Gary, although it pains me to admit that. So happy 80th, Gary. I look forward to seeing you at 90. Cheers.
Happy birthday, Grandpa.
Hi.
Thank you for all that you taught me when we were younger. I was the only 12-year-old kid that I knew that could smoke cigars, castrate a calf, and whistle at women. So thank you for that.
Grandpa, we're so grateful for all that you've done for us, your love and support over the years, and I just want to wish you a happy 70th birthday.
Holy shit. You're 70?
Happy birthday! We know you're still young.
Hi, Dad. Happy 70th. And I'm trying to reminisce with different special moments that we've had. I've come up with several. Some of the funnest memories were like probably Sunday afternoons when we got done with our chores, playing football out in the field with all of the neighbor kids. And thanks for teaching me how to be a quarterback. When I got to school, I was always one of the first kids chosen for each football team. So I appreciated that. Another thing that I was your first was probably your first hired hand unofficially, that I got to do all the castrating of cows, and I think maybe that helped me get into the medical profession. I'm not really sure. Other firsts that were really special to me was like when you took me to the Neil Diamond concert. That was my first concert, and you still say that's why you're hard of hearing now. But it was a really special time with you. And probably the highlight was when you came out to pick me up for my 16th birthday in your 240Z, and I had my halter top dress on. I was all dressed up, and it was just really special. And you've been a wonderful dad, and thank you for all your love and support for my family and my kids, and just always appreciate and love you. Bye-bye.
Hey, Dad. I just had a few questions about what is with you and mooning every single person you meet. I mean, we've got some pictures on the table of you with your butt, just like a big mooning photo, but I don't think it surprises anyone that we chose one of those, because you do it to everybody. And I got another question to ask. What's with you always having to take a poop on the side of the freeway? Always! You're thinking people aren't going to see you in between the horse trailer? I can see you in the rear view mirror. I can see you in the side mirrors. Or when we're at dinner and you said, oh man, I got the poops, I think I could crap through a keyhole. It's just some information people don't need to know. But seriously, Dad, it's awesome that you're around so much, a lot more lately at least, and that we've been able to hang out more, and I'm glad I'm around to see this, and I hope you have a lot more birthdays. Love you, Dad.
Gary, you have touched lots and lots of lives over the years. You are truly a wonderful and generous husband, lover, father, grandfather, and friend. You... Stop. Okay, now I can talk. You have an incredible, generous... No, I don't... Okay, now we're on to take 3. You have a wonderful capacity for living and spirit for life that makes it impossible, even at your age of 70, for us to keep up, especially me to keep up with you. Truly, you are a wonderful man. We all love you very, very much. I want to wish you a happy birthday, Jared, and I love you very, very much.
Hey Dad, happy birthday. Today is an exciting day. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. Happy 70th birthday. And when I think back on my childhood memories, I loved when we wrestled on Friday nights with you. You'd be on all fours, and it was so fun, all 3 of us kids having a good time. My other happy memories are of when I was in high school, and I would come home every summer and live in the Dalles. We had a lot of fun. We would just do ordinary stuff like work in the garden or go to the health club, go on a jog, and I remember you taking me to an outdoor Willie Nelson concert, and I really loved that. That was a lot of fun. So you're a crazy dad, you're full of life, have an awesome personality, and just are full of fun. So thank you for everything you've done. Thank you so much for making education be an important part of your life, and without that I don't think I would have made it through nursing school. I thank you for that, and thank you for your help with the kids in their college tuition also, and just have a wonderful day. I love you so much.
Hi Grandpa, thanks for being the weirdest grandpa in the whole world, and happy birthday, and I love you.
Hey Grandpa, just wanted to say thanks for coming to all my baseball games when I was younger. Thanks for everything, and even though you call me a girl, still love you. Happy birthday.
Hey Grandpa, happy birthday. I just want to say thank you for always helping out with education for my brothers and I, and always being there and just being a really fun grandpa to have. Anyways, I hope you have a good day, and I love you.
Happy 70th birthday, Gary. You've been a very interesting brother. Remember the little diaries that the folks gave you, Larry, and me? Everything was just fine with those diaries until you decided one morning you were going to see if your key worked in my diary. And behold, yes it did. And the next morning, the breakfast conversation went like this. Dear Diary, and you proceeded to tell what you had read in my diary. You only got to do it once because I stopped writing in my diary. Being your sister has been interesting. You gave me the best job I ever had. And yes, when it was over, it was very sad, but I have 5 years of happy memories. Thank you, Gary. You've been wonderful.
Okay, happy birthday, Gary. This is hard to say things about you, being that you're such a character, that you're much bigger than life, to me anyway. I remember when we were kids, I was always unhappy because you were such a big guy and so tall, and I'm just a little scrawny guy and just never achieved that. You've been, had a great life. One thing when we were kids, I was happy because I was a good speller at that time, not anymore. And I don't think you ever learned how to spell cat, but that really doesn't make any difference, I figured out. One advantage, though, to being little is that I happen to like old sports cars and I fit into them, but you don't. So you're forced to buying new expensive cars. So see, that's one disadvantage that you have. My brother's very generous guy. When we were kids, I remember he used to give me his old comic books, except unfortunately at that time I lived with my grandparents. My grandpa would take them away from me. So that was too bad. Gary would give me his old clothes, and that was really nice of him until he got so big that I couldn't even fit into his hand-me-down clothes anymore, so that didn't work so good. Gary's a very creative guy. When we were kids, very young, I remember that Dad got a new car, and I believe the story goes that it was a dark green Plymouth, and Gary and I painted it yellow as far up as we could reach. And Dad was so busy cleaning off the yellow paint that he was too busy to spank us. So that was our creative effort at painting that. Also, one time when we were kids, we played with matches in my grandpa's house, and we caught his garage on fire. So see, we had lots of creative abilities at that time. Gary's a wonderful sportsman. I remember he used to ski, and I'm kind of forgetting the story, but I think when he got off the lift at one time, he kind of wiped out a bunch of people in the process of getting off the lift. Maybe you could ask him about that story. I remember he remembers it better than I do. And of course, Christine, naturally, she's wishing that she could be a wonderful skier like Gary. Gary has an eye for cars. When he was a kid, he had a beautiful Henry J, and that looked like a baby Cadillac. And I remember he had it painted a new Chevy bronze color. Unfortunately, the painter mixed the paint. He didn't buy it, he mixed it himself. And as a result, the car looked like a cow had flown over it and deposited on it. So we always had fun teasing Gary about that, I recall. Gary's also a very good driver with cars too. As you notice now, he drives great. And remember, he drove Dad's Buick and developed mysterious transmission problems. And Dad never could figure out why that poor Buick kept breaking transmissions. I remember a time that Gary's also determined too. I got to recall. One time he and Christine went out to help Dad round up cows and put them in the barn, and they brought their horses to round up cows with, but Dad said, no, we don't need horses, we're going to do this on foot. Well, they spent an hour chasing cows all around the yard and finally gave up in disgust. I used to tease Gary about that, but he didn't seem to take it very well, so I've stopped mentioning that. Gary, you're a great brother, and thanks so much for being such a wonderful brother. I love you.
Happy birthday, Grandpa. Thank you so much for all the experiences that we've had. And the most important one that I remember is in the Dalles on the summers. Drew and I would go up there and you would tell us horrible stories, cowboy stories, and you would scare the shit out of us, and then you would expect us to go to sleep with the cow out there and all mooing and the coyotes, and you expect us to go to sleep. Oh my goodness. But they were the best memories of the Dalles and riding through the cherry orchards and having pit fights, and I know you would give an arm and a leg, and you almost tried when a horse stumbled, and I was riding with you and you tossed me up to someone else on the horse, and the horse stepped on you, and I know that you would do anything for everyone in our family and all your great friends too. And I just want to wish you a happy birthday and tell you that I love you, and more than 70 years to go. Happy birthday.